So, do your gas bills worry you? I know that over the last few years we've all been subjected to problems with energy bills and increasing, so that basically people's energy bills nearly doubled, and everybody was struggling, and still to this day, they've gone down a bit, but not compared to what they were 3 or 4 years ago. So I thought one thing that we do when we go into people's houses is we just try to advise them that just to run their heating or their hot water systems a little bit more efficiently. Some people don't want to, that's absolutely fine, but I don't think there's any harm in trying, because you can end up saving a few quid on your energy bill basically. I've done it at mine and it works, it genuinely works. So one of the first energy saving tips, if you've got a combi boiler, most combi boilers have got a preheat function on them, and some people don't even know it's turned on. But if you can go to the boiler and have a look, and sometimes it's dead simple to know what to do, but if not, go into the instructions or ask your engineer to do it for you. Just turn it off. It stops the boiler coming on every so often to keep the boiler warm, and that's a great saving. You could alter the temperature of your hot water coming out of the combi boiler. You could lower that to maybe 50 degrees. There's no problem with Legionnaires or anything like that, because it's instantaneous, it's not stored hot water. That's always a great tip. And your flow temperature of your heating. Now, the thing with the flow temperature of your heating is, on older houses, generally radiators are really, really big. Now, the reason for that is because when they were first built, they weren't well insulated, and so you had to have bigger radiators at a high temperature to counteract the heat loss of the house, so therefore you were warm. What's happened over the years is homes have become more efficient. They've become like cavity wall insulation, double glazing, more insulation in loft spaces, and because of that, these radiators are now massively oversized. So and if they've not been changed, what you could do is reduce the temperature of your flow temperature on the boiler, and therefore you can run it at a lower temperature. The boiler will condensate or condense, and then that will, in theory, the more it condenses, the more you save. So you can save up to about 8% on your energy bills if you can get your boiler to condense. Most boilers don't condense in this country, even though they are condensing boilers. It's because they're massively oversized. People or engineers, and I've been guilty, just go in and replace like for like, even though really you could foresee the average house, the heat loss for the average home is probably only about 7 kilowatt, yet we're putting in boilers that are 24 kilowatt, and that's the minimum heating output on that boiler. Some boilers you can range rate, which is what we tend to go down the route now, so we can throttle the boiler down, and therefore it gives you a better, it gives you a more efficient boiler basically. So other energy saving tips are, if you're renovating a room, and you're renewing your radiators, you could increase the size of your radiators to incorporate new low temperature heating regulations, but you could do that in your home as you go along gradually. You could also insulate the walls internally. That's always a great thing. I've done that at mine and it really does work. Lost my chair, look. And it's not really an energy saving tip, but it's just a tip in general for people, and the benefits of planning what you're going to do with your heating system. Now, people don't want to, I know it's boring, I know people want to plan bathrooms and they want to plan kitchens and they want to plan decorating, and they don't want to plan their heating system. I totally get that. Naturally, the boilers break down at their maximum usage periods, which is winter. People are then panic, and what happens is rush to get a boiler replacement, it's forced to use somebody that they don't want to use, don't really look into what boiler they're getting, might pay over the odds. Pre-plan these things, have a say with what goes on, book it to be done when you want it to be done. Probably the most important is you can choose who you want to do it. without being forced into a desperate decision where you might end up getting a job that's not particularly well done, or you're just not happy with who you've got to do it. So I would always say that a really good tip would be to try and pre-plan on boilers when it can actually become an emergency and then all the panic sets in. And then obviously financially you can prepare for it, and you can even weigh up your options with heat pumps. You could even go down that route instead, because there's grants available for that through the government, and about £7,500 you get back. So just a few tips that I think are handy to sort of use. Again, get in touch. We've got no problem with that. If we can advise people or book us for a service, we can come and talk to you about it and give you some advice. We're always happy to do that. Okay, cheers.